Hello, guys. It is Tuesday. What is today? It doesn't matter. It's the 19th. Tuesday, February 19th. I feel like I just made a video. I guess because I just did less than 24 hours ago, but that's okay. I was inspired to make another one today because I actually went sourcing today at a thrift store. So I went to my plan is so I went to a thrift store I've been to many times for multiple years now, probably like 3 years, maybe more. Been going there for a while, and I went there to mostly they have books there. They also have some CDs. They have some other stuff like DVDs, VHS tapes, that type of stuff as well. In the other side of the store, but my plan is to go to one today, and then the rest of the days of the week. I mean, the weekdays, so up until Friday, and get a big enough or enough together so that I can do a decent sized shipment on Friday, hopefully. So I'm gonna list everything and as I go day by day, and hopefully I'll have enough a decent size shipment for Friday. So here are the books. Whoa, those are all the books I found today. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 23 books. And then I also got CDs. 1, 2, actually 3, 4, 5 CDs and a PC game, Diablo 2, and then 2 VHS tapes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a decent size haul. So 23 books, 5 CDs, one PC video game, and then 2 VHS tapes. The VHS tapes are going to go up on Amazon. I think both. One of them is merchant fulfilled. The other one, I believe, I'll do merchant fulfilled as well. The video game will go on eBay, and then all of the CDs will go on Amazon. Hey, Lynn, how you doing? And then all the books, of course, they're all Amazon. They are all. I think there might be a couple in there merchant fulfilled, but I think most of them are FBA, if not all of them. So, but this isn't a haul video, even though I shared you my haul. But basically, the name of the video is 3 book sourcing or Amazon book sourcing no-nos. So when I was there, this rarely happens at thrift stores for me. Oh, I use FBA scan, Lynn. And so, yeah, I use FBA scan. But when I went there, and then I went back to the CDs and whatnot, and found those 2 VHS tapes, found the CDs, and found the video game. And I looked at a couple electronics, but didn't. I found one that had some potential, but I decided against it. And then I went back to the books, and when I first walked in, there was nobody at the books, looking at them. And then I went there, and somebody was looking at them, but I noticed that they had a cart, rolling cart. It's a kind of a smaller space. They've sort of blocked it up, not blocked it off, but it's a bit of a smaller space. It's not an open, book section. So there's not that much room in there. But he had his cart there, and he was actually looking at books and then stacking them into the cart. And I just took a second. I paused, and I was like, you know what? I think it's another reseller, and that's pretty rare for me. I don't go to thrift stores as often as I used to. Definitely at book sales, library book sales, you'll see a lot of resellers there, of course. But just I haven't seen very many at thrift stores where I go. And then when I used to do a lot of book sales and garage sales and estate sales, I would see some other resellers, book resellers, but not very many, hardly any actually. So anyway, so it's always a surprise to me. And this person I may have seen before in the past, but haven't seen in quite a while, probably because I just don't go to thrift stores as often. But anyway, I think he's the only other reseller I've seen at this one. It doesn't matter. So basically, though, I noticed a couple things that I wanted to talk about, and you may agree or disagree. One second, Ivan. Wait, okay, I'll answer your question real quick. So when at thrift stores, how do you how do you not waste too much time scanning the same books the second time around? So in order to avoid that, I would just wait a little bit of time. So you kind of have to know your spot, so it takes time to figure this stuff out. You can also ask the staff, which is a really simple way to do it if you're not opposed to that. So I know some people don't like to talk to other people, which is why they do reselling. But you can ask them how often they restock. Some places only restock a couple days a week. Some restock every single day, 7 days a week, because they sell a lot more books, have a bigger book section. So it depends. So I would ask them that question. You just also you kind of find out over time how often their books turn over. So certain places the books aren't turning over very fast, so I don't go to those very often. But most of the thrift stores that I go to, if I go there anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, every 2 to 4 weeks, there should be newer books. So that's kind of how I deal with that. So the three things I noticed. So this person was they were basically looking at the. I think this is a rookie mistake. Maybe this person is newer or whatever, and everybody does it their own way. But this is my observations and my opinions. So basically, they were taking books. They were going book by book and deciding whether it was a book it was worth even looking up. No problem, Ivan. And then they were putting them in the basket, and they had, I don't know, 20 books in there already, a couple stacks. Basically, they were hoarding. So I think these are things you shouldn't do. So they were hoarding, and then I believe I've seen this person before, and they only do books. So they were only looking at books, and they weren't using a Bluetooth scanner. I used the KDC 200 when I first started for a couple of years because I was stubborn and I guess maybe didn't want to spend the money or didn't know which one to buy, whatever it was. I didn't buy a scanner. I was just using initially also the free Amazon app, and then when I finally started using the paid app, it was much better, able to source a lot faster. And then when I got the scanner, it was much better as well. So the three things. So the hoarding is, I don't know if you guys seen this before. It's basically people pulling books off the shelf that they think are worth scanning, and then putting them to the side. And then once they've gone through all the books and they have this big stack or stacks of books, then they go and they start going through it and looking them up and scanning them, which is what this person was doing. So number one, I think it's sort of bad form to do that. Again, there's no rules to reselling. There's no rules to thrift store reselling. It's basically do whatever you want. But I look at it as sort of like a scarcity mindset. And instead of just methodically going through and scanning, even if you don't have a barcode scanner, it's sort of a weird way to do it. Maybe they're thinking like, oh well, if I find the books first and then scan them all together, it'll be faster. But I tend to think that's not the case, especially if you have a scanner. It's also ineffective because you might miss profitable books and make less money because you're just going by what you think a book might be worth based upon, maybe the experience you have. It's also slower, so you're spending too much time pulling books off, deciding whether they're worth to scan, and then stacking them. And then once you're done scanning, going back and reshelving. Yeah, it's pretty irritating. We've got a couple of hoarders at one of my local spots. Irritating. Yeah, I think it's just kind of rude, but you know, like I said, there's no rules to it. Although it is beyond rude, whether it's a thrift store or whether it's a book sale, and this often happens at book sales where resellers will stack books up in the corner and then they'll scan them, and then once they pull all the ones they want out, they'll leave those books sitting there where they left them versus putting them back. Now that is not just rude, that's just craziness to me, and that's just selfishness and laziness. So anyway, but that was not what this person was doing. So, but that I've seen that as well and heard that from a lot of other resellers. So it's slower, it's ineffective. You're not scanning, you're not looking at enough books. You're not scanning enough books when you're just pulling the ones off you think are worth money. So it's much better to go through them. And I don't mean that you should scan every single book, 100% of the books. Some people believe that you should because you might miss one. And the only way to really go about that is to have a Bluetooth scanner so you can go through a lot of books, which is what I recommend anyway, is using a Bluetooth scanner to to be faster, and it's not just about being faster, but it's about getting through more books, which adds to your book of knowledge, to what you have in your head and what you know is worth scanning and worth money and not worth money. So it helps you. But still, anyway, so those are parts of the reasons that I think hoarding is a bad idea. Also, and this if this is the same person I've seen before at this thrift store and others and other ones, then I know that they only do books. And there's nothing wrong per se to only do books, but just as an example compared to what they did with their time there and what I did with mine, is I wasn't able to access all the books because he had pulled off like 30 or 40 books to scan on his own, so I wasn't able to scan those unless I was rude and was like, "Hey, do you mind if I scan the books that you're done with?" You know, which I wasn't going to do. It's not worth my time. So anyway, I had gone back though first to the CD section and all that, and I found, like you saw, was able to find VHS tapes, which you don't need to get ungated to sell. I didn't find very many, and I'm not going to make a ton of money, but I'll make a little bit of money. One of these actually is going for around like 15 bucks, so, and they were only 25 cents, and I think at least one of them is going to be like half off. Hey, how you doing? One second. And then the CDs were only what are they? 45 cents each, unless they had some a tag sale, percentage off. So I was able to get all of those and add that onto the 23 books that I found. So I think that it's really important to diversify, so that if you come into the problem of there's a bunch of other resellers or the books aren't that great, that you can go look at the CDs. I understand CDs are more difficult if you're not ungated, that you can't sell them. But there's always video games, there's always VHS tapes, there's audio books, there's vinyl records, so there's even audio cassette tapes. Some of those will worth some money. But there's a lot of different ways you can diversify within media without even going outside of media. Let's see. Because when you're spending an hour or 2 hours there, you want to make as much as you can in that time that you have to source, right? So once you've gone through the books and then you don't have anything else to look at, then yeah, it just makes more sense to me. When I first started, I only did books, and maybe he's just starting. I don't know. Maybe he only wants to do books, and I'm not saying you absolutely have to go beyond books or should. Well, I think you should, but everyone's different. Some people only want to do books, and that's fine. But I think that's important to diversify. And not using a scanner is the other no-no. So hoarding, only selling, only reselling books, and not using a scanner. So, and I can say this from personal experience, is when I didn't use a scanner, it took me a lot longer to go through the books because you got to hit scan, and then you got to scan it, and it just takes a lot longer. So using a scanner is much quicker. Scanning faster gets you through more books, which saves time, helps you become more knowledgeable, and makes you more money. So it's definitely worth the investment. So it's kind of it's reselling books or media 101, excuse me, is getting a Bluetooth scanner if you're going to go, if you want to really grow it big. If you're only doing a little bit, you're only sending in, I don't know, 100 books a month or something, a very small scale, and you only want to make a few extra bucks, 100 bucks a month, a couple hundred bucks a month or something. But if you're trying to make $1,000, $2,000 a month, you want to make it significant, then you definitely want to invest in a scanner. Some people might say, well, I can't afford to buy it, it's expensive, and it's true, some are expensive. The one I have cost me $80. Last time I checked, they were going for way more than that on eBay. I think like 150 to 200. I don't know if that's because there weren't as many available, but even if you have to spend 150 or $200, you should be able to make that back, in a few weeks, just going out there, even less time, and scanning a bunch of books. So use the money you're making with Amazon to invest back into, to buy some tools, to get use a scanning app like FBA Scan or any of the other ones out there, whichever one you want. Let's see, sorry, someone else. Whoop. I scan everything and I pay attention to titles. Been having a lot of blessings, psychology and religion books. Also, just this past weekend, sold two 30 plus lots of CDs on eBay. That's great, Lynn. Awesome. E. Schaefer asked me about triggers. I don't know. I have to look at my phone, which is what I'm using for the video, so I can't tell you off the top of my head. Oh. On the ones that I sourced here, um, so for CDs, I'll usually not go too far below. I try to make at least $2 to $3 profit. FBA more like $3, which puts me around like 8.99 or a $9 price point for a CD, assuming that I'm not spending very much on it. These CDs were pretty cheap. They were 45 cents each. Clearly, when I buy them in bulk, they're cheaper, but I tend to do that. And then rank for FBA, I try to stay under 300,000, but usually I'm under 200, and most of the time I'm even under 100. So it's more important to me though is how often it's selling, so the sales history and how many other offers there are and how much the CD is going for, basically. If there's a lot of really low, if the FBA prices are too low, then I'm not going to bother, even if the rank is really great. If all the offers are $6.75 and below, the first three offers, unless the rank is like under 1,000, then I'll probably just pass it. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Oops. Oh, no problem. 100%. My scanner and Scout IQ paid for itself the first day. Was able to scan all three local stores in the time it took me to do half of one. Yeah, for sure. Your scanner and your scanning app is gonna be really big to your ability to to source a lot quicker, to get a lot more, send more shipments in more often, bigger shipments, grow your inventory. All of that stuff is going to be it's going to be really important because I know. I mean, there's probably people out there like I was, which was being stubborn about it and saying, no, I can go perfectly fast enough without a Bluetooth scanner and not have to spend the money on that and learn something new. That's also the other thing is another thing I have to learn, another software, a device that I have to connect to my phone. Something might go wrong, and yeah, it could. Um, but it's definitely worth the effort and the time for sure. I highly recommend it. Whoops. Have you ever tried the I IO IO scanner? I've never heard of it. I've only ever used the KDC. They're huge but cheap. No, Ivan, I've never used it. My local Rasputin's has been having a killer sale on CDs. Rasputins sell on Amazon, although they might only do merchant fulfilled. Whoops. Tony says, have you ever figured out your average profit margin on books sold via profit margin? Um, no, I mean, so hold on. Well, I know my average sale price in general. Well, it's tough for me to say just for books though, because I'm doing books and CDs. And unless I figure out, I'm sure there's a way for me to do this. Maybe you guys can help on the sales dashboard how to figure out or how to see, your average sale price for different types of books, CDs, other stuff. It used to be on the bottom of the page, but for some reason it's not there anymore. Maybe there's only some button I need to push or something. But anyway, I don't know for the difference between books and CDs, but I know, like here, I don't know. Okay, that's only Amazon. So just for Amazon, just for FBA for the month of February, my average sale price is 11.15. But that's probably going to be a lot of CDs that are going to bring that average down. So, I'll sell a lot of CDs around the $10 price point because a $10 9.99 CD will make me a little over $4 and like 20 something cents that I pull out of a Gaylord. So I'll sell those all day, and those are typically ones that are going to sell a little bit quicker. Even if I have to drop it down to $9, after a certain period of time, I'll still make $3, over $3. So that brings my average sale price down. But actually, I think my merchant fulfilled is higher. Let me see. Oh no, for February it's not. Manny says, I just bought and reviewed an Ayoyo, $46 brand new. So far so good. Sounds good. So if mine breaks, I'll probably look into that. Ayoyo rocks, cost effective for sure. Cool. That's good to know. Renegade, the only book I found that was in a thrift store worthwhile was an algebra textbook that I bought for $1 and sold for $100, which is awesome. Talking about in a thrift store, a DVD at Goodwill for $3 and flipped it for $35. Huh?
Ya se acabó.
No.
Quiero hacer otra vez.
Okay, estoy haciendo video.
Ok, pero ¿qué apretó? Ya está. Ese.
Play.
Joder, ¿cuál es play? Oh, ya, hermano. Y ya flecha.
Yeah, Robert. I know that you've been wondering. That's been a big question of yours. But yes, you can. You definitely can. Found 7 of the same algebra book. Oh, cool. Yes, you can definitely make some money at a bargain hunt store. Well, Renegade, I would suggest going to more thrift stores, more book sales, more estate sales, more garage sales to look for books to resell. A lot of the higher dollar books will tend to be, I know, right? Will tend to be nonfiction in general. There's going to be some great fiction, but a lot of stuff you'll find is going to be not just textbooks, but there's a lot of great nonfiction titles that are going to enable you to make some good money. So you just got to look. I mean, you got to go through hundreds and thousands of books. I mean, not to find one book, but just to figure out what are the best types of books that are even worth looking up. It doesn't take like years, but it'll take you probably, if you go sourcing multiple times a week, let's say 3 times a week, book sourcing, do that for 3-4 months, and you'll be amazed at how knowledgeable you'll become about what books are worth even scanning or looking up. You'll see a lot of the same titles over and over again, or the same authors, and you'll figure out those tend to not do as well, and those types of books and whatnot. And a lot of fiction is not worth even looking up, but some of it is. What's the difference between the ones that are and the ones that are not? Not just the genre, but you'll notice the way that titles of books and which ones just based on the title, based on what the spine looks like, the artwork, the lettering, even just stuff like that, the color scheme. Lynn says $5 bag sale, sold 1 book for 57. Merch filled, yeah. So I just sold. Would I recommend buying Gaylord pallets of books? Yes and no. So I do that occasionally. I have done that for a while. Robert does it. But I would recommend it if you have the space, if you have the physical ability to possibly jump into the box because you can't push it over and you have to, get in there yourself. And also, you don't necessarily need a pallet jack to move them around, but that's helpful if you're gonna get a lot of them or get big into it. But initially, just to test out a source, it's not necessarily a necessity. Yeah, for sure. But if you're only doing FBA, okay, sorry, hold on. I would recommend testing out a source of Gaylord. Buy two or three from the same source. If you have space in your garage, if you have a storage unit, if you have a warehouse, whatever, have them delivered there, and then go through them and see how many books you find for FBA, how many books you find for merchant fulfilled, how many books you find for eBay. See what the percentages are. If you're finding at least 10 to 20% between all three of those, then it's probably a good source. If you're finding basically next to nothing, then it's not a good source. Like Andy Schaefer says, and the ability to monetize the duds, that's helpful. So you can put up eBay lots together, put eBay lots together. Sometimes you can, if you have some big used bookstores or chains near you, maybe you can go to those and get some money or at least store credit for those, and turn around and try to buy some more books there. Excuse me. Of course, you can donate them, and then of course you can recycle them, or worst case scenario, throw them out. But yeah, try to monetize them somehow. That's going to be your best bet to make as much money as possible, unless you don't want to go that route and you just want to stick to Amazon. So I got probably about another 10 minutes on the video at most. To let you guys know it's gonna be a little bit shorter. I got to take my daughter to a class she's going to be taking. So yeah, I would recommend it, but you need the space. You need a way to, if not move around the Gaylords, then you need at least to know that you're going to have to take all the books out and then get rid of them somehow. If you can't have someone come and pick the Gaylords up of books to recycle them, let's say. And then it's good to know how to deal with the duds, whether you're going to try to monetize them or just donate them or whatever, because it's a lot of work. If you're not having somebody come to haul away the duds for you, it's going to be a lot of physical labor and time spent on that. So that would be my recommendation. What do I recommend for Amazon? I mean, the types of books to sell, new versus used. I never sell new books on Amazon, only used. The best I'll do is like new, and that hardly ever happens. I mostly do high percentage of good condition and then smaller percentage of very good. Oh, Lynn says, off topic, it's okay, no problem. Has YouTube sent you a check yet? Yes. Although it was an electronic transfer, but same difference. Love your live streams, dude. Thank you. Yes. I monetize them through their ad program. So yes, if I meet their minimum threshold, they cut me a check. They cut checks once a month, so at least for me. I don't know about the big YouTubers if they get paid more often. But yes. I've hit the minimum threshold several times, so I'm getting there. Trying to get to getting a check every month, but we'll see how long that takes. But I mean, more views, more thumbs up, more subscribers, clearly. But it's more about putting out some hopefully good content. Yeah, I guess that was it about the topic that I was talking about. I had a great. So today, I'm probably gonna post it to my Instagram. Not a big deal. Just a photo of everything that I shipped out today. So this is from spillover from, this was like Friday, late Friday until today. I had accumulated 11 eBay sales and then ended up being 6 merchant fulfilled sales. So I had 17 items to pack up, which was awesome. And I got a great eBay sale of a DVD set that I put up there like yesterday, and then it sold today, and it was $50 sale. So that was awesome. That was a DVD set I had sitting for probably like more than months, probably like a year, sitting in a box with a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to list on eBay in my storage unit. So I'm finally getting to those and just getting through them and getting them up there and seeing what sells. But that was cool. And then I sold a book, merchant fulfilled, for $45 that I had pulled out of one of the Gaylords. So that was pretty awesome. What do we got here? Looking to be more efficient, which listing software are you using? I'm using AccelerList. Some people use ScanLister. Some people use Inventory Lab. There's some others too. I'm using Seller List at the moment. I have in my description box, not in this one yet. I'll put it up, but I have a link to Seller List for you or anyone else that wants to try it out. It's I think there's a trial. I'm not sure, but there might be a trial. But it's $30 a month, and so far it's been great. The people that are behind it seem to be doing good stuff with it. Tony says my average sale price on books is way higher than mine, $21. My average cost is about $250, and yet with FBA fees, I only end up with 15% margins. Wondering if it's really worth the time. Well, $21 is really high. I mean that a 20. So Tony, are these bigger books, or are some of these like paperbacks or less heavy books, or are these all like big bulky textbooks or whatever for 21 plus dollars? 250 is a little bit higher than what I'm what I pay or what I've paid in the past, but of course it depends on where you live and how much books are going to cost you. I mean, fees on a $21 book, like I don't know if I can come up with an example right now. If you could pull up like an ISBN number, we could look it up and see using the FBA calculator, fee calculator, or Amazon fee calculator to see why it's costing so much. But 250, I mean, you figure $21 because I know if I sell a CD for $20, I'll make around like 11 or so dollars. So if it's a lightweight book, I'll probably make around anywhere from 10 to $12. It's going to depend on how the size of the book, the weight, that type of thing. But let's say $21 book, you make at least 11 bucks, after fees, and then 250. So let's say 850. That's pretty good. Yeah, standard size books. Yeah, that seems 15%. So let's see. Because 15%, let me see. 21. No, what am I doing? So is my math wrong? 15% off of $21 is a little over $3 profit, right? Or is my numbers wrong? Or am I doing the math wrong? So you're making like $3 to $4 because that seems pretty low for a $21, book on average. Seems like you would make, even after cost of goods, you'd make anywhere between like $8 to $10, depending on how big or heavy the book was. Michael says last year my average cost 178, ISP 1850. Yeah, maybe. I mean, because the biggest expenses are going to be FBA fees are going to be the biggest, and then there's inbound shipping, and then there's cost of goods. Yeah, I mean, if you're driving to drive a lot, then of course there's gas. For me, I don't have to drive very far to get to even like 10-mile radius. There's a bunch of thrift stores. And of course, if I have the Gaylords sent to me, then I don't have to drive at all. I just have to pay for the delivery cost, the delivery charge. But yeah, so that does seem pretty low. But Michael's saying his was 26%. Yeah, $25. That's high. That's great. I mean, how big are your inventories? I'd be curious to know that too. Okay, a couple more minutes. I gotta end the video because I gotta take my daughter to school. Not school, to a class. Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep track of. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have GoDaddy bookkeeping uh, software, and so it shows me. Oh, it's after all expenses: gas, subscription, software, monthly fees, shipping, supplies, etc. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I was trying to. Okay. Wow. So Tony, you have 2,200 plus items. Uh, those are books, all books. That's a huge inventory. Um, wow, that 15% does seem pretty low. That seems strange. I mean, maybe you're having to go far for the books, or maybe inbound shipping is more expensive. I'm not sure. Um, uh, FBA fees are definitely higher than they used to be. A lot higher than they used to be 2 years ago. Even 2 years ago, let's see, 2017. When was it? I guess at the beginning of 2017. So 2016 they were very low, and you could sell $10 books all day and make, um, make $4, $4 to $5, smaller paperback books, fiction books and stuff like that that sold really fast, and then that just went away because those books now you're lucky if you make $1 on those. Um, so yeah, I mean, it depends on what your uh sorry guys, I'm spacing out. It depends on 95% books. Okay. Depends on what your minimum profit is. If you're finding a lot of books over $21 and you have 2,200 in inventory, yeah, that does seem lower. 15%. Travel about 150 miles a week. Okay. Yeah, that's a good amount. So Michael says, with 2 years of profit and losses to compare, I'm making more money with a higher ASP and half the inventory size. I spend the same time sourcing, have many less to process, and make slightly more money. So you're just bypassing books that don't go for a certain dollar amount. I mean, when you're out there sourcing, you're just leaving them and just only sending in the ones that are the higher ASPs. That's good. I mean, if that works for you, that's good. I would love to only send. I mean, I could only send in books that, let's say, $15 and up. That sale price. But you leave all the $10 to $15 books I used to buy. Huh. That's weird to me that you would make more money, but sending in less books, yet you're still sending in the higher priced books. Maybe the lower priced books were costing you. I mean, it's taking more time to process, but then also more expenses for inbound shipping. But once they're there and they sell, I would think that they would add more money to your bottom line. But um, maybe it's not the case. Okay, guys, so I don't want to end the video because there's still 7 of you on here and we're still chatting, but I have to go take my daughter to a class in 3 minutes, and luckily it's around the corner. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate all the thumbs up. I've been getting a lot of thumbs up on the videos. I was just looking at all the videos I've made in the last couple weeks, and there's tons of thumbs up, and that really helps me. So at least that's what they tell me that it does for YouTube. So thumbs up are great. No problem. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Feel free to leave comments. I know these are live streams, so a lot of your questions are answered or we interact or whatnot. But if you're watching us in the future and you didn't catch it live, have any questions or comments or concerns or anything, you can also email me at, if you want to whatever, for whatever reason, you know, you have something to chat about, I have an email address, marshallbookman@gmail.com, that I don't check as often as I should, but it's there anyway. So let's see, do I have any new emails? Anyway, so that's it. So, all right, guys, so I will make another video tomorrow, hopefully a brand new topic. I'll go to another thrift store tomorrow and see the outcome for that one. I'll list all of these, and hopefully by tomorrow, before the next video, so that I can see what my potential profit is. It's probably not going to be a huge profit, but it'll be something. No problem, Tony. All right, guys.